The ocean is mysterious, beautiful, and vast. Plankton and marine plants sequester carbon from the atmosphere, too. Think of ocean plants as the trees of the seas. Up here on dry land, we have other issues to attend to, like work, school, and family. Real life, regular life. And sometimes our dry land, wherever we live, is just that. Soil that has been stripped of nutrients that are needed to nourish plants. We can end up with powdery dirt that requires a constant supply of water just to keep the grass growing. When we had the opportunity to rent a house with a barren lawn, it was challenge accepted. Then, when everything changed in March 2020, it was time to pull weeds and haul mulch on a major scale to leave this place better than we found it. I have enough watching the news to want to come out here and tear up the yard, so it kind of looks like a giant squirrel came through this morning. While it's easier to mow weeds, scatter their seeds everywhere, and then blow the clippings into a pile and toss everything into the yard bin, that creates a lot of opportunities for weeds to take root and flourish. What's quick and easy can be the opposite of what's better for the soil long term. We had an incident in which one of the yard guys raked up a bent grass plant, leaving a square hole behind, and put it into the yard waste container. Luckily, I knew where to look for it, and it was soon rescued and replanted. I've weeded extensively here in the yard. Everything is just grass, well, hopefully, and rocks and dirt. What we want is to have soils full of organic matter, growing the next generation of plants and trees. How rich a soil is determines how healthy the vegetation will be. What's at stake goes far beyond your ability to have a beautiful yard or enjoy some homegrown food. So how can you do this on a small scale? First, get rid of what you don't want, such as weeds or invasive plants. Next, add some compost and mulch. Heaping organic matter onto your depleted soil can do wonders for your yard, your ecosystem, and your environment. If you've ordered a chip drop through getchipdrop.com, you've consented to receive 4 to 20 cubic yards of mulch. Make peace with how much mulch you might receive before you order it. And check out their video, Why Chip Drop Probably Is Not For You, if you're unsure. Using this service also means that you're going to sort out anything mixed up in the wood chips, such as yards of shredded twinkle lights. Be sure to receive all orders like this, which come straight from arborists, with grace and a sense of humor. Stay safe became the unofficial catchphrase for 2020 when we went under lockdown because of COVID-19. But when it comes to working with mulch, you're going to need a mask for that too. While it's great for the soil, dust and mold associated with mulch are bad for the human respiratory system and sinuses. To stay safe while working with mulch, be sure to wear a mask or use a bandana to cover your mouth and nose. Here we are, 24 hours in. It's the end of day 2. I've had my second shower of the day. I've got a chat with my friends online in a couple hours, so I called it. We're done. This is walking through the door that reaches our backyard. There's different colors on the ground. The mulch is almost everywhere. Some surprises may appear if you order a large mulch drop. Our tiny friend Polly the praying mantis appeared on our porch after the first buckets of mulch were scattered. Also, we collected a huge amount of shredded twinkle lights from the mulch drop. Here's a note about safety. After it sits for a day or two, it's normal to see steam coming off a pile of mulch. Since mulch is organic matter, the bacteria within the pile are able to feast and multiply rapidly. This causes the mulch to decompose, which heats up the inside of the pile. When hot air from the pile mixes with cooler air outside, it appears as steam. If you see steam coming off a mulch pile, soak it with water immediately. Mulch forms a protective layer between the soil and the atmosphere. When light can't reach the soil's surface, this reduces evaporation. However, this can also prevent rain from reaching the soil. Depending on where you live, it's best to mulch before the dry season and water it in. Mulch decreases the soil density and increases moisture, organic matter, respiration, pH, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, all things that help plants grow. While the mulch breaks down, it slowly creates these helpful substances. Once summer began, we watered in the mulch and tended to the small garden in our front yard. Sometimes what grows easily in a space is overlooked and undervalued. However, growing native plants is the best way to conserve water, support native wildlife from bugs to birds, enrich your soil, cut your pesticide use, and minimize your carbon footprint. Besides, you can surround yourself with honest-to-goodness natural beauty. Professional gardens recommend setting up a small area for pollinators, whether it's on a porch or in your yard. If you can't plant anything in the ground, it's okay. Simply use potted plants to enhance your surroundings. When choosing what to plant, remember that native plants are desirable since they are adapted to the conditions in your area. Check with a local nursery to find out what would work best for your space and climate. Since our front garden is next to our kitchen, it's easy for us to throw organic kitchen scraps into the garden or to pour cook water for pasta or vegetables into it. Celery tops, carrot peels, and mushroom stems are popular with the locals, but lettuce is the absolute favorite for our booming population of roly-polies, which play a surprising role in climate change. A 2015 study found that roly-polies, also called pill bugs, may play a role in controlling the climate because they eat fungus that is responsible for breaking down organic matter in the soil. Once they eat the fungus, this stops a process that could release carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. For us, planting native grass ensured that long after we lived here, the lawn would be lush, the native animals would be fed, and water would be conserved. San Diego bentgrass, which we cultivated and planted, can be mowed or left to grow long, and it's a healthy alternative to any grass that needs to be mowed and watered often. We've gone from oceans to forests to soil to roly-polies in learning what can sequester carbon and improve the areas where we and local wildlife live. There are ways, big and small, to improve our environment for ourselves and everyone who comes after us, human and otherwise. Growing native grasses through the summer was easier said than done. Our climate is just too hot and dry for that. Still, we had a few blades of grass started in small pots, and we stuck them in the ground when the rains began in November. We also sprinkled bent grass seeds on the mulched lawn and wildflower seeds in our flower beds, waiting for blades and blooms once the cool rains of the fall and winter worked their magic. As the days grew shorter, wetter, and colder, we crossed our fingers and waited to see what would take root, hoping that our backyard could one day become a meadow, full of native grasses and wildflowers.